Good morning, Caminantes. I'm getting ready to do the last section of the Lake Atitlan. It's about 18 kilometers. And I have to go to Godinez. And we still got the protests going on and the traveling is really kind of sketchy. So I plan to walk down to the launch. It's about 5 o'clock in the morning and take a launch to the town of Santiago, which I've walked to already. And then I gotta take another launch to San Lucas, which I've walked to already. And then I have to get on this little tuk-tuk or in the back of a pickup and go up to this town called Godinez. And it's kind of north on the west side of the lake. And when I walked from the airport, the 6 days from the airport to San Pedro here, I actually went to Godinez, but I went the opposite way to Panajachel. That's where I got bit by the dog. I kind of went off to the north and around and down. This time I'm going to start again from Godinez and go a little bit to the south and around and down, back down to San Lucas. And that'll get me the entire lake. So there's no launch to San Lucas, so I'm walking down the road toward it, hoping to hitch a ride. We'll see what happens. Okay, there were so many people in the pickup taxi that they had to make them get out and walk up the hill because they couldn't make it. It wasn't powerful enough to get up this huge hill, so everyone has to walk up. Interesante. Okay, so after a hair-raising event, standing on the bumper on the tailgate of this overloaded small Toyota, I made it to the graveyard where they have a bathroom, and now I have to do 2 more stops because there's some roadblocks. Take a tuk-tuk and then a shuttle to get to Godinez. So anyway, here's the graveyard. The baños are right in the graveyard. Okay, so here are all the roadblocks. I had to walk through them, and there's another one here, so I gotta walk on the other side of this one, and then I get in a truck and go to Godinez, I hope. All right, they wouldn't let me through, so I can't get to Godinez unless I walk there, and then I have to walk back, and it's about 16 kilometers there and back, and it's just getting too hot, so I'm gonna have to head back to San Pedro and scratch this baby. Darn. The agony of the... Okay, so all the launches were closed down, so they were gonna charge me 400 quetzales, which is about $50 to get to Santiago on a private launch. So, my God. So I decided to take a tuk-tuk for 200 quetzales back to Santiago, and then I still have to get from Santiago to San Pedro. Man, like I said, the agony of defeat. Godinez is totally shut down. You just can't get there on any road. Here's trying to get back into Santiago. I had to block it off. I don't know if I can get back to San Pedro. So here's the situation. Man, I took a launch to Santiago, and then I got on one of these taxis like that to San Lucas. And then I took a tuk-tuk to this place called San Alicia. So as it is, I have to walk probably 5K to try to get a launch back to San Pedro. And no telling how much I have to pay to get back to San Pedro. You know, cash is really hard to come by because all these roadblocks aren't letting people in. So, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen here. Okay, so I finally made it back to San Pedro. What an excursion. So that's the first time I had to bag it. I think in 6 months of hiking, this is probably the worst I've had it. Last leg, the very last walk I want to do. And anyway, so on the picture that follows, the green is where the roadblocks were. And, no, the blue is where the roadblocks were. And then up kind of to the right, you can see a green circle. And that's where Godinez, I was trying to get to there. Now I was going to try to get to Godinez and then tomorrow walk back to where I started in San Lucas. Didn't quite work out. So anyway, just a brief little rundown. This was the last leg of the complete circle of Lake Atitlan. And today, like I said, I just wanted to get to Godinez and regress back to San Lucas. And to get to the roadblocks, I mean, it probably took 3 hours. And I rode in this taxi that and we had to help push it up a hill. It was so overloaded. And I ran back and helped them push it. And then when it got to the top of the hill, I had to stand on the bumper and hold on to the steel railing. And there's 2 other guys standing next to me on the bumper. Every time we hit a bump, the whole thing would hit the ground. So it was not really. It was a little scary. It was a little scary to say the least. So to the place where the roadblocks were, where I couldn't go any further. I mean, I could have walked, like I said, but it took a launch, a taxi, and a tuk-tuk. Once I got to the roadblocks, I realized that they said, well, you could walk, but it's like 10, 15 more kilometers up the road. And it was really hot, and I couldn't do it. I didn't want to do it. So, and then I had to get back to San Pedro. And so I hired another tuk-tuk, went back to San Lucas. San Lucas, went back down to the docks to get a boat, and they said, nope, I'm going to charge you $500. It was about $50, $60. Not a lot, but still, it's a lot of money when you're on your last month of a 6-month sabbatical. So I asked him if the tuk-tuk driver, if he would just take me to Santiago, and there I could get the boat back here to San Pedro. So that's what I did, 200 quetzales for that. And then I finally got to Santiago, and I had to walk 4 or 5 kilometers because that road was blocked off. They wouldn't let anyone in there, in the cars or anything, motorcycles, nothing. So I had to walk from there to the roadblock to the dock, and fortunately I caught a public boat back to San Pedro, which was 30 quetzales. So anyway, quite a day, but didn't make it. So feel kind of bad about not being able to make the whole circle around the lake, but I came really close. Then I had to call and cancel my reservation in Godinez because I rented a little apartment there, and so I had to WhatsApp those guys and tell them I wasn't coming. Anyway, woo, pretty wild. Now I got to try to get to Ciudad Guatemala. That's my next adventure, because it's really tough. I think I have to go by night, and so I'm trying to line up some kind of a shuttle or a private taxi or something to get me from San Pedro to Guatemala City, which is about 3 to 4 hours, depending on the traffic, maybe even 5 hours. And it has to be done in the middle of the night, so the roads will be opened, I guess. So we'll see what happens. Okay, well, thank you so much for watching. It doesn't look like I'm going to complete this, but appreciate anyone who's out there watching, and hope you got a good idea of the beauty of this place here in Guatemala, and just how open it is and wonderful. The weather's just fabulous. So, okay, adios for now.